Is Cody Rhodes wrestling's best babyface? I'm Ollie Davis. I'll spoiler the answer for you now. The answer is yes. I love him. I genuinely love him. This is Chopper Pete Quinnell, and welcome to the AEW WrestleTalk Live Review, which is also the go-home edition for Full Gear this Saturday, AEW's first pay-per-view in a post-TV age. Please press the thumbs up button, give us a subscribe so we can reach 750,000 subscribers and get in your super chats, because we'll be getting to your comments in the break of the show and then at the end.
Yes, you did it. You actually did it for once.
And you did a little Orange Cassidy thumbs up.
Did a thumbs up at the end, yeah.
I said last week that Cody is the best babyface in wrestling right now. Mm-hmm. I said I loved him. Beyond just the wrestling character. I feel like I know him. I feel like he's my brother. He's cool. He's relatable. He's a megastar. He's down to earth. He's everything. And
you're very passionate about this, aren't you?
This is one of... I'm worried. Because I'm going to make a potentially hyperbolic statement. This is one of the best wrestling promos of all time.
Yeah. Okay.
Cody on this show to build his feud with Le Champion Chris Jericho for Saturday came to the ring, cut a promo, just had a little bit of Tony Schiavone, sorry.
A little bit of the Tony Schiavone.
Schiavone. Pronounced his name wrong. He sort of did the old WWE trick of, here's a microphone.
What are your thoughts?
Thanos away.
Yeah.
And it just went straight over to Cody, and he started off. It had a really nice build of emotion and cadence, this promo. First of all, everything was on fire. The delivery, the word choice, the sort of pattern of speech, the content, the emotion. Never seen anything like it.
The crowd.
The crowd, good point.
The crowd throughout the whole night were incredible. But for this promo, every single beat where they needed to react to it, they reacted, and they reacted loud. It was an amazing crowd, and it made the promo that much better.
At some points in this episode, the crowd were too good. The other half of this feud being built is Jericho's side of things. He does this excellent comedy parody of Cody's sort of emotional VT package from the first episode of Dynamite, I believe. And the crowd are laughing so hard that it takes away, like I couldn't hear some of the jokes that were being done. That's how good the crowd were. Can't blame them too much, though.
No.
Anyway,
amazing.
So, first of all, I pretty much wrote down the entire
Oh my
promo.
God, you did.
Because I loved
Jesus.
it. I was just like, every line I said... That's so good. I've got to write that down and that one. It's like how you get with spots in a match. I've just got an exact play-by-play of every move.
See, I've gone the opposite, and I started writing it. I was like, no, there's too much good stuff here. I'm just going to write like an overall recap of it.
I watched it 3 times
in
a row.
It's quite good.
I finished it. I immediately went back and watched it again, and then I did it again. I've only ever done that with one movie in my life. And that's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Okay.
I watched it, and then I watched the entire movie again right after I'd seen it. It's that good.
Okay.
This promo is as good as Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
It's a weird comparison.
Do you think I'm being too hyperbolic here?
No. When you say it's one of the best wrestling promos of all time...
I already regret putting my...
No. When you say it's
ground.
one of the best wrestling promos of all time... I don't immediately just go, no. There's a part of me that goes, is it? And I think already that's me putting it at really, really high praise to say, yeah, it might be one of the best ones ever. So I think it's right up there alongside, the Pipe Bomb, alongside Hard Times, With a Tear in My Eye, all of the iconic ones. It's up there for sure. I think we'll be hearing this one for a while.
So maybe I'm going to, it's the best promo in the last 5 years.
Yeah, easily.
The last time, I'm not saying I'm never emotionally moved, but the last time I was this emotionally moved by a wrestling promo was Daniel Bryan's retirement speech.
Yeah.
And I don't think I can count that
No.
Because that was a real thing. That was like a genuine interview. This isn't a wrestling angle. Or maybe it was. I've got to retire because of head trauma.
Yeah.
Before then, it was the pipe bomb.
And that wasn't Daniel Bryan talking. That was Bryan Danielson that was talking.
Yeah.
So there's two different things. So if it was Cody Rhodes that came up and did this promo, it's a bit different. Whereas this is definitely Cody Rhodes, the character, doing a hype promo for his title match. That's a difference.
Exactly. Just like CM. But, you know, the it's blurred, kayfabe and reality, whereas the Bryan stuff, you're right, was reality.
Yeah.
Actually, I completely forgot. I'm Joe Anoa'i, not Roman Reigns. Of course, that promo where he revealed he's got leukemia. But again, that's a different kind. That's not a wrestling promo.
Exactly.
That's like a very honest revelation of a real life incident. So let's just go through every single thing that happened in this promo.
Okay. You do it, because my one is just like, I've written like 3 lines and I'm like, okay, this is great. And then I just stopped writing stuff.
So just get this for structure. It's not a long promo either. It's like 3-4 minutes.
Straight to the point throughout the whole thing.
Succinct, yeah. And it's in the ring as well. So that's I think you have to be very, very good to cut promos in the ring, because you're completely exposed out there, and you've got to engage and whip up the audience, as opposed to being on a backstage thing where you can have the benefit of editing and someone to help guide you and all these other bits and pieces. And it's a different kind of delivery as well. You're talking right there to a whole crowd, as backstage as one person.
Presenting more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he started off saying, look, I'm glad that the Inner Circle have formed, because we, as the elite, Paige, Omega, the Bucks, have been looking for like another thing for us to fight against. So good. So like that immediately, great promo work. You're putting them both on an excellent level.
Yep.
It's not you're rubbish, so that's good. Then he puts this within a larger historical context. He says that, I'm going to mention some names now, Eddie Graham, Bill Watts, the American Dream, his dad, perfectly placed to get a Dusty chant from the crowd.
Of course.
Excellent crowd, as you've already said.
Yep.
What that does is it makes this feud feel even bigger, because it is within the context of a larger historical piece of wrestling. Then he serves up this amazing insight of like, the thing those guys all had in common was they were wrestlers, but they're also management. That's what I am. And I don't want to be that guy who's like, oh, you're only in wrestling matches, in the title matches, because you're in charge of the promotion. And that's when he put some very real stakes on the line here, which is like the true substance of this promo. And what really, like, one of the big selling points of the match this Saturday and the whole pay-per-view as a result is, if I don't defeat Chris Jericho, I will never challenge for the AEW World title again.
Oh, that's some big stakes.
It's a bold claim as well.
A bold claim, because I didn't think Cody was winning until this promo. And I'm like, is he winning now? I really don't know. Because part of me thinks that is just Cody talking. And he's like, I don't want to challenge for the top title because I am management. I want to give other people opportunities. So I legitimately won't challenge for the world title again if I lose. And he's planning to lose, and then he won't. Also, it could be he won't challenge for the AEW world title again while he's a face. And then, sometime down the line, he's going to turn himself heel, and then he's going to say, just kidding.
Yeah.
World title match again as a heel.
Well, that's it. We've seen this in WCW, TNA, WWE. When someone says, I will never do something, or I will retire, it's kind of hard to take it as a real serious thing, because that isn't what happens. And I fully expect Cody... The thing is, Cody shouldn't win at Full Gear on Saturday.
Yeah.
Because Jericho is such a good champion. He needs to hold it for a long, long time to establish that belt. He's a great heel face of the company. But this feud is so well worked. And I said it last week. My heart is arguing with my head.
Yeah.
And the head is the part that goes, wrestling's not real. It's all scripted. But my heart is overriding that and switching it off, which is what I want as a wrestling fan, and saying, but Cody should win. He's the best.
I know.
He's your brother, Ollie.
And I don't want him to never challenge for the world title again. That's part of me is now going, I really want Cody to win this now, which is exactly, I should be rooting for the babyface.
Yeah. I hope, because I think that's a great idea of yours, that he's not going to challenge until he turns heel, and then he can turn into this egomaniac management figure. Although, I'm not too keen on that, because we've seen that a million times before, the heel authority figure. What I want, and I can't believe I'm saying this, because I've always seen Cody as a heel up until like the last few months. Like, he's tailor-made for a heel in Ring of Honor and the Bullet Club stuff. I want him to lose on Saturday, then have a whole year of just blood feuds, because he doesn't need to fight for the title. There's a lot of other people who should also be getting programs over the top championship. And then in a year's time, after he's been beaten down after beaten down, that's when he somehow gets a title shot. I don't know how you make that work, though.
Yeah.
They've written themselves into a corner, and I hope they've done that knowing that there's a little escape hatch.
There's an out that they've thought of that we haven't. So I think that out has to come via some kind of outside interference of like Tony Khan overruling him, or it has to, which would be, sketchy at best.
It's difficult because I don't want the MJF turn now either.
Yeah.
Like, I want that to be built up for 6 months at least.
Exactly. And you'd think, though, with AEW, they'd prioritize not going back on their word. So I don't think they'd say this in jest, and they wouldn't say this unless they had a plan. Either Cody's winning on Saturday, or if he's losing, he legitimately will not challenge for the title again until something happens years later.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that Cody's not going to challenge for the world title for another 2 years after this, I wouldn't think. And I think if that heel turn does come at some point, that should be 2-3 years down the line, not even a year. I think a year's even too soon. So, yeah, I'm fingers crossed that's what happens.
Well, I'm not saying he should turn heel to fight for the title. I'm thinking a year minimum after being beaten down as a babyface for a year, screwed out of opportunity after opportunity. I now want Cody's first title win to be as that babyface.
Yeah, that'd be really good, actually.
I just don't know how you get out of this position you've booked yourselves into. Anyway, that was just the start of this promo.
Yeah, that was the start. Christ,
because then he sort of, he puts over AEW. He says like he's been a part of making this. He puts over the schedule, how they listen to the fans. This brilliant line that this is the Ellis Island of professional wrestling. This is freedom. It's a hell of a line.
Literally, on the way to work this morning, just because I listen to it every so often, I was listening to the John Moxley Talk is Jericho podcast and how he's been freed from WWE.
Often?
I mean, once every couple of months or so.
I used to do the same with Punk and Cabana's podcast.
Yeah, I just listen to it every so often because it's fun. It's a fun listen.
It's really interesting.
And it was just him just talking about how he felt shackled when he was in WWE and the freedom he's got now when he comes to AEW. And then Cody mentioning in this promo, this is freedom. I was like, yeah, it is. Some of your wrestlers have said that exact thing. So yeah, it was just a nice little moment.
And what I liked a lot about this promo, I've personally got a kick out of all the WWE digs that particularly Cody has been making on Dynamite. I don't think anyone else has. It's mainly been Cody doing that. And I guess you could interpret a lot of this promo as digs at WWE. But for me, they were separated enough that it was more AEW positive as opposed to negative WWE.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
I'm now past the point of, oh look, they said something naughty about WWE, because NXT is also a very, very good show, and that's really their competitor there. Yeah. So I much prefer this AEW positive theme here.
Yeah.
But then he just turns it. Once he makes that announcement that he won't face for the title again, he turns it straight to Jericho. Now he's not talking to the crowd or Tony. He's looking straight down the camera. And he talks about how, maybe I didn't read it in your book, Lion's Tale, which I neglected to pick up, which you can buy for $3 off Amazon. Or any
such a good line.
bargain bin store.
A flea market or whatever it was, yeah.
Brilliant line. Yeah. And then it was just excellent line after excellent line. He said, you call me a millennial bitch, but Jericho, you were born to a famous hockey player in Canada. you were brought up in a very like well-to-do middle-class house. You stupid dick.
Just throwing these lines out. He said, me and you, we've had the same silver spoon. You talk about how I've had the silver spoon. We've had the same one. Like you said, you're born to the famous hockey player. And he's just basically calling him an absolute idiot for all the insults he's given him. And he just fires back and retorts to every single insult he's given him before. It's so good.
It's cathartic. It was genuinely, it's like your mate is actually winning the argument against this bully. Do you know? And it's like, yeah.
Screw you, man. Yeah, it's great.
I call you a carny succubus. That was a better line than stupid dick. I enjoyed the stupid dick line. I enjoy stupid dick.
Yeah.
But the carny succubus one, that was the real cutting insult, I thought. And then, oh, God, it gets even better. You need this generation more than it needs you. And it just turns this Jericho figure who is, you know, this bully character in AEW as actually being this desperate, lonely old man.
Yeah. In one line. I don't understand how this is so good. Like, it's one line. It shouldn't have that kind of impact.
Yeah.
And yet, he says that one thing and suddenly I'm like, yeah, Jericho is hanging on to his past, isn't he? And it's like, he's not. He's completely reinvented himself and he's still, you know, at the top of his game almost. But now I'm just like, yeah, screw you, Jericho. Screw you for taking the spot from the young guys, etc. Even though, and in one line, it's so good, and so good.
And then he like turns it again to paint the Inner Circle as not this cool faction, but it's actually Jericho just surrounding himself with a group of young guys that he's been able to manipulate and influence. For me, I thought there was a second reading there at the likes of Triple H, which has always been a thing. You sort of a reading of how Triple H builds factions. He puts more talented people around him to make him feel better. But then then Cody turns it again. There's so many thematic turns and zigs and zags in this promo, which is something you usually expect from the drama of a wrestling match.
Yeah.
And he did it with words. He said, this isn't about the dead, though, because he was talking about like Dusty and his family. It's about the living, my mother, my sister, and his voice breaks. And this is like when he's going full on emotional. My wife. It's the 14 years of me going from undesirable to ungoddamn deniable. And his voice breaks, and then he just finishes the promo real simple. The Elite are going to eat the Inner Circle alive.
He says it's going to be a match beyond. I don't know whether that's a stipulation or something, or some kind of new match type, some sort of variation of War Games or something. I don't know. But doesn't matter, because, God, what a promo! And then he walks away afterwards. It was incredible. I was literally speechless afterwards for a little while. It was amazing.
I must admit, and I don't cry easily, I welled up. When his voice broke, I welled up. My arms were tingling. Maybe I was having some form of cardiac arrest.
Possibly.
But I'm okay right now. So it must be this strange thing called emotion.
Yeah.
This is incredible. It really is one of the best promos of the last decade, in major promotions at least. I'd argue in this immediate span after watching it that it's up there in like the top 50 wrestling promos of all time.
Yeah.
And maybe it's even higher than that. But this, to me, you can trace this performance to his acting. Cody has appeared in Arrow and Flash, I believe, the DC verse stuff. He's done acting classes. When he left WWE, he wasn't just, I'm going to do all these cool wrestling things. He was trying out a career in Hollywood. And this was a genuine actor's performance.
100%, yeah.
It sort of bumped out of that level of wrestling promo and into something else. I can't say enough good things about this.
Yeah, it was fantastic. We have spoken so much about a 3-4 minute promo. I think that says it all, really. Yeah. It's a 3-4 minute promo, but there's so much to unpack from it that we have gone probably way too long. So I say, let's get into some super chats, shall we? We've got some. Thank you, Mod Mother, by the way, Lady Lou, Gina, for getting these super chats for us. Let's see. Note from the chat. Michael Everly said in the chat, the match beyond was what they called the War Games match once every team member was in the cage.
Interesting.
So maybe they are doing some sort of variation of War Games or something afterwards.
Man. The Elite versus
in a circle.
Yes.
Writes itself. But let's get into the super chats. Oblivious Kari said, just imagine, he used to be Stardust.
Hey, he threw his whole performance into that character.
Oh yeah, 100%. Cody has always made the best of bad situations. Sometimes things you just can't save, and Stardust is one thing you can't save, I'd say. Valab Mamadipudi said, shout out to Blue Thunder Bucklebomb on the WrestleTalk Discord for this quote. Cody's promo is a long, eloquent version of, okay, boomer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Totally is. Jobber JJ.
Well done for crediting the person you heard that off of as well.
It's great.
In the WrestleTalk Discord, go and join it.
WrestleTalk.com/Discord. Jobber JJ says, Cody versus Le Champion will be match of the year. Promo was so awesome. I believe every single word he says, and Jericho is just the best. AEW feels so real.
Look, I was never into Cody as an in-ring guy. I always enjoy his matches, but it hasn't been until All In last year. Even his New Japan stuff and his Ring of Honor stuff. He was, unfortunately, probably the least interesting guy when it got to the wrestling part of things. Like when you're against Kenny Omega and Ibushi, there's no helping that.
Yeah.
But now, after this year of matches he's had, pay-per-view matches he's had, and some TV ones as well, he's consistently had my best match. Like 3 of my favorite matches of the year are his.
Yeah.
Including number 1, which is Cody Dustin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's evolved so much from his WWE days. Dwayne Cooley said, I didn't get the connection to Cody from last week that you were talking about, Ollie, but when Cody made his announcement, my heart sank. I feel it now.
I'm with you, brother.
The Zorni said, yes, he is, in response to the title of Best Babyface in Wrestling, and he doesn't even have dimples.
Does he not have dimples?
Has
he got like a little bit of the dimple?
A little bit of the dimply. I don't know. You can look that up. All Elite DK said, others turn face, but Cody turns brother. # Cody is real.
Are we all... I don't care. I'm putting myself out there. Meme away. Make fun of me. I don't care. Because he is... I love him.
Cody is Ollie's brother. Confirmed. Sean Turner said, last good promo was the fake Mark Henry retirement. Oh, that's a good one.
Also known as the salmon jacket promo.
Yes. Oh, that was an incredible promo.
You're goddamn right. That is truly a wrestling promo because he hooked you in with the idea that he was retiring.
Yep.
And that's a great promo.
Yeah,
it's a great promo.
Canalellum Probabile.
I've got to say though, sorry on that.
Yes.
Great promo. And it made me want to see Mark Henry beat people. Did it make me want to see Mark Henry versus John Cena, which is what that led to? Not as much as Cody makes me want to see Cody versus Jericho.
That's fair.
And that's wrestling promos.
Yeah. I'd also say the follow-up to that promo was non-existent.
Yes.
After that promo happened. But Canalellum Probabile said, what if a champ challenges Cody for the title, though?
That could be a way around it, where Jericho's like, look, I'll give you a shot. Yeah, I guess so.
But then Cody would have to accept, unless he's like forced into it for some reason.
Like he's got Dustin. But why would a heel in Jericho be like, come on?
I don't know. Unless a face wins it. And he says, I know you didn't want a title shot, but I want to give you that because you've earned it, or something like that, if a babyface holds the title.
Oh, man, it just shows what a good job AEW have done, that I just want to see Cody beat Jericho.
I know, yeah.
I can't see any...
I know. Mike Dempsey said, Cody has to win. Jericho can't carry them the distance. 2 years? Inconceivable. Seriously, who can carry it? Best case, MJF versus Moxley for #1 contender.
I don't know. I think Jericho can carry that company for a year as the top because he's got so many other people to work with. And he's easily the most recognizable name from a mainstream perspective.
For sure.
Yeah.
Finally, for now, Ashley Cartwright says, you guys are forgetting that there is an out in the match. 3 judges at ringside. If the fight goes for an hour and no clear winner, split decision draw, but there's 3 judges, and Jericho retains, leaving Cody with an out.
It's an option. We were talking about this on the podcast. This is the first time they've put the judges there. I don't want them to use them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, like 6 matches where there's judges down the line. That's when they can get involved. But it's a bit of an obvious Chekhov's gun.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather the judges be a red herring for the first 6 months of those stipulations than using them right from the get-go.
Yeah, I think they should be there for every world title match at a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
For that should be an AEW staple, and then at some point they get used down the line. Yeah.
Right, so let's get on with the full review. We'll get on to the rest of your super chats at the end of the show. It's from Charlotte, North Carolina. Hot crowd all night, particularly hot for Cody because, as Tony Schiavone announced, it's where he was born. But the opening match was Pac versus Trent.
Yeah. I love this.
Not Trent Beretta.
No, just Trent.
Was he always been called Trent?
I don't know.
If he has, it's only jarred with me now.
Yeah, because I thought at one point he was just called Beretta, right? Maybe not in AEW, but I know at one point he was just Beretta.
It's a very WWE move to take a supremely cool name like Trent Beretta. Beretta is the name of a gun. And remove the cool part to make it just someone's first name.
Just Trent.
Trent is just a name. Maybe that fits the best friends gimmick a bit more. But, if I'm being hypercritical, I would like to see Beretta back.
Okay.
As a surname.
Just as a quick one, the way the shows kick off normally, and they say, here's all the matches that we're going to have tonight. I love that.
Yeah.
When they open up the show, they play the intro pack and say, right, we're going to have this match, this match, this match, this match, and we're going to kick off with this one. And then it just starts. What a way to start a show. Instead of someone coming out and cutting a 20-minute promo to set up the main event. I love the way they package it.
Totally agree. So this, and just because everything's still so fresh and exciting, and they've done such a good job at even getting over lower mid-card talent. I don't think AEW has an undercard. They do.
It does.
It's Brandon Cutler at the moment. And those few guys they beat up last week in the 6-man.
Yeah. Sean Spears and Joey Janela.
No, they're mid-card.
Yeah.
But they've got what I'm saying is that they've, much like modern society, it's a swelling middle class.
Yes.
So it's a big mid-card. So you've got a huge mid-card, pretty stacked
main
upper
event scene.
card, and then quite a tiny
little undercard.
Yeah. But yeah, when Pac walked out and he's against Trent,
yeah.
All right then.
Yeah. But
especially because Trent's packaged with Chucky T and Orange Cassidy all coming out as the best friends act. Yeah, I was really excited to see. And the commentary did such a good job putting over Pac, saying, he could be in contention for the AEW title shot afterwards. And it's weird, I'm pretty sure Jericho's going to win. But I'm so invested and sort of believe in this promotion in terms of it being a real wrestling sport. I was like, yeah, Pac could. This heel versus heel thing that doesn't work from a psychology perspective could be the next match.
I reckon they could make it work.
Yeah, if anyone
I reckon they could.
But the crowd are just brilliant. They're super against Pac. Pac gets some great heel heat. And Orange Cassidy gets in behind the referee's back and does the standard little kicks.
I love that Chuck Taylor had to distract the referee for that. Because otherwise, it would have been a DQ. So much offense from Orange Cassidy.
Well, they spoke about this on the Wrestling Observer review. That he should have distracted him more. As soon as someone gets in the ring and the referee sees that, it's that shouldn't fly.
Yeah.
So even if it is just little kicks, why is there a dude in the ring? They use the example of if one of the corner guys gets into the ring at the octagon and be like, stop the match.
Yeah.
But that Chucky distracts the referee. Orange Cassidy does his kicks, but then Pac no-sells them because they're treating Cassidy's offense really well and consistently. Pac just clobbers him in the side of the head.
So
with a
good.
Kick. And he had the glasses on.
Yeah, they went flying off.
Oh.
It was awesome. It's a great spot.
But that was really good to fire up Trent. And that just like ramped the match up to the next level because Trent runs in. And just even though Pac is outnumbered 3-1 here, and they did just interfere with distracting the referee, totally heel move. Trent's this super babyface. Again, it goes against wrestling logic. And, Pac throws him into the barricade, and Trent just bounces out and spears him.
It's great.
Has some good, it looks really great, and Pac is selling amazingly. That tornado DDT spike, and Pac goes down vertically. We get the 10-minute call, but then Pac hits the brainbuster outside.
Yep.
Looks awesome.
Ouch.
Then it all goes a bit weird.
Yeah, a bit weird. Because he rolls him back in, and then he hits the black arrow. Again, looks awesome. I was expecting Trent to get his knees up, but he didn't hit it properly. 1, 2, 3? Question mark? I feel like they counted 3. Trent didn't kick out, but then the match didn't end. So then Pac locked in the brutalizer, and then the match ended after that. It was very strange.
Yeah, Trent didn't kick out.
No.
The referee just stopped counting,
counting.
and Pac sat up.
Yeah.
Obviously, Trent was meant to kick out, and then I think straight into the
brutalizer, but he didn't.
Either someone forgot a spot, or Trent was knocked a bit loopy from that brainbuster on the outside.
Yeah.
So it just didn't. Yeah, it was a shame. The crowd booed that finish because they could tell it was a mistake. But Pac, and I think this was an audible call on his part, ran over, got a microphone, and turned that heat against a mistake into heat against him.
Yeah.
Because he just started shouting at the crowd and saying, and I'm going to beat you at Full Gear on Saturday.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking, oh, cool, there's a match. I'm not thinking about the mistake anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
If that was an audible call by Pac, and I think it was, genius.
Yeah, it was very, very good.
Then we got the Cody promo. Then we got, I love this idea as well, the bronze medal match.
Yeah. When do you ever see people fighting for third place in a tournament in wrestling? Should do it more often.
Yeah.
It makes sense. You have a tournament. First, second, and third. Just do it.
Yeah, because currently, you have it in like the World Cup and stuff. You get the third, fourth playoff that no one really cares about. But it is interesting. And it's like AEW are so focused on matches meaning something and tournaments that they're going one step further. And they're even making this third placement a thing.
Yeah.
Like, everything has stakes.
And the thing is, it had more stakes on top of that because the team that won this match would then be added to the AEW tag title match at Full Gear, which is a rematch of SCU versus Lucha Bros. But then that is against another team, and it's whoever wins this match. And it's Private Party versus Dark Order for the bronze medals, and also to be inserted into the match.
How do you feel about Dark Order?
I've written here. The Dark Order are very good wrestlers. I think.
Grayson in particular.
Very, very good wrestlers. The whole minion thing doesn't quite gel. It doesn't click with anyone, really. And people were booing them throughout the match, as they should have, because they're the heels. I think they did decently well to gather some heat for themselves. I don't know if that was entirely just heel heat, though. I think some of it was just like, I don't want to see
Go
you.
away heat.
Yeah, it was a bit go away heat-ish. So I think they're really good talents. I just think they need something to change in order to click with the audience a bit more.
It is the minion thing for me. It just something doesn't click with it. Like if they came out without the minions, I think I'd be fine.
Yeah.
But that said, I every week, well, after last week where I thought they really impressed, and Scott Grayson actually, it's Scott Grayson, isn't it?
I think so.
Something Grayson actually had my favourite spot of the night, where he just did that running jump over the ring post.
Yeah.
Really impressive. They're growing on me a bit. I don't know if that's because they're getting better or I'm just becoming more into them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think the whole minion thing jars with the promotion.
Yeah, it really doesn't quite work. I mean, when they made their entrance, they were just trying to do their best 2K20 glitch impression. So they were just walking down doing the little monkey walks down. It's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you there? It just it doesn't quite.
It's a bit goofy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
But this match was pretty good. Private Party are just really charismatic, so
so
athletic.
good.
They're not the finished product. Like unfortunately, I still pick up on bits, and I'm not even that into. Oh, you missed that spot, or you missed time that thing. But for whatever reason, I pick up on it in their matches, which must mean it's quite glaring. But I would choose them every day of the week over a boring, competent wrestler.
Yes.
You know, competent's a mean word because that implies they're not competent. But just like a
Clinical wrestler.
But like clinical, like Cesaro, I'd say is a clinical wrestler. And you know what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't want to say Miz.
Miz is a good point.
Because Miz brings so much in charisma and promo. But like his wrestling style, I would pick Private Party over that every
100%.
day of the week.
Yeah.
But the and Dark Order's double team stuff, actually, maybe that's why I was more into them. I thought that really clicked and they got that over.
Yeah, they felt a bit more like a team, I think, this time, which really, really helped them. Private Party is so fun.
Yeah.
My God, they're so fun. Just the amount of high-flying, crazy nonsense that they do all the time is amazing. Their finisher is
Gin and
so
Juice.
exciting. Gin and Juice is amazing. So good.
That's like one of my favorite tag team finishes. I really like Shatter Machine.
Shatter Machine's amazing.
But I can't think of any other. Like the Young Bucks stuff's cool, but it's almost too elaborate for me.
Yeah.
Whereas Gin and Juice is just a perfect tag team finisher for me.
And it fits so perfectly with their kind of charismatic, high-flying style as well. It's really showy and flashy, but also it would probably hurt. So it's really quite good. It's quite a good mix.
Ticks all the boxes.
Exactly, yeah.
But they won Private Party, so it's going to
did.
be Private Party versus Lucha Bros versus SCU.
Yes, please.
For the tag titles at Full Gear. And that makes sense. By that tournament, the first, second, and third best teams in the tournament are going to go for the championship belt.
Yes. I guess it makes sense. I would rather that the tournament culminated not so close to Full Gear.
Yes, I think, I agree. Yeah, there's something not quite right
It
about
feels just a bit like an automatic rematch for Lucha Bros more than anything else. But still, it makes sense why they would get the shot.
I must point out here, we are being super nitpicky.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
like that's like the highest level of nitpick because 98% of all of this I loved.
Yeah.
Speaking of loved, and something that has no nitpick required, is this Chris Jericho promo.
This is, I think, probably the funniest thing I've seen in wrestling. Full stop.
So the Orange Cassidy stuff, I the first time I saw that, I thought it. But yeah, in terms of like comedy, like non-wrestling comedy, it's hard to describe.
This was genuinely just a 2-minute comedy skit. This wasn't wrestling. This wasn't really a promo. This was just a skit. This was like a Being the Elite, but like high quality video package type stuff of just comedy skits. And it was hilarious. It was so funny.
So what it is remember on the first episode of Dynamite before the Sammy Guevara match, Cody had that really well-produced video promo where he's sitting on a kitchen counter and Brandy Rhodes comes in and she's like something, something, something. And her voice fades down and that sad piano music comes in. And it's all about Cody's mental state and his toughness and how he wants to go for the top title. And it's got interviews with DDP. I think his mum's in it. MJF. Really well produced. And then it cuts to a training montage. Jericho did a parody version of that based around him trying to find a little bit of the bubbly.
Oh, God. So it starts off with Jericho just sitting there, staring off into, middle distance. Sammy Guevara comes in with 2 different bottles of bubbly and just goes, "We've got a choice on what bubbly you want." And the crowd are already laughing at this.
Got a low-cal option.
We've got a low-cal option, but this one tastes better. So we got to say, and then his voice fades out and the piano music starts.
When that first, because I didn't know this was coming.
Yeah.
I didn't know this is what they were doing. That first piano note, and I realised that it was the play on Cody's. It's just brilliant. It's
genuinely amazing.
I haven't got the words for a lot of this stuff. Just like when Cody wrapped MJF's scarf around his hand and punched through the glass. It's really, really rewarding jokes or emotional moments for people who watch every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're playing to their audience, and that's only going to get more audience in, I would hope, although the ratings haven't reflected that. It's been
Correct.
a week-on-week loss. But sorry, I'm getting carried away. It then cuts. Well, Jericho kisses Sammy on the head, just like Cody kisses Brandy on the head and walks off. So good.
Amazing.
Total all of this is done with a completely straight face.
Yeah. No smiles, no laughter throughout the whole thing, apart from the crowd.
Yes. Yeah. Which is, like they were laughing so hard. Yeah. I mean, we watched it all in the office together, and we were laughing so hard that I would miss jokes. So just from a production standpoint, super nitpicky. So I said there was be no nitpicky. Turn down the crowd noise.
Yeah. But I think it works personally.
What a problem to have.
I know,
The crowd are too loud.
The crowd are enjoying it too much.
But then, if you haven't seen it, you've got to watch it.
Please,
because I'm not going to do it justice.
I've heard through the grapevine. I haven't searched it up myself. I think it's on AEW's YouTube channel.
It isn't. I couldn't find it.
Oh, could you not find it?
Maybe it's gone up since.
Maybe not.
But Sammy's doing a talking head bit about Chris Jericho over footage of Chris Jericho sitting in a bath in his full gear. You can see he's got trousers on, but it's like the water's all around him. Then it cuts to a weird voice. I'm like, whose voice is that? Mm-hmm. It's Virgil's.
Yep.
And he's there as Soul Train Jones. The joke being that Virgil does a lot of wrestling conventions for money. Mm-hmm. He's an easy in joke in wrestling to make fun of that sort of wrestler who's just, I don't want to say will do anything for money. That sounds quite lewd, but that he's been paid to come in and say this stuff and it's not real. Yeah. And he's saying like Jericho's the best wrestler ever. One line being, Jericho's talent is like Olive Garden's breadsticks. Unlimited.
And even a line like that is so brilliantly comedically delivered. It was throughout this whole video, the comedic timing on everything was absolutely flawless. Yeah. It was so good. There was more other people coming in, so you had Sammy Guevara doing he's like a father figure to me and all that stuff. You had Jake Hager, who didn't say a word through the whole thing, and it kept cutting back to him, and he'd just be standing there deadpan just for the whole time. Yeah. It was amazing. You had Santana and Ortiz doing their little pieces. You had an old lady. I didn't catch her actual name. Oh, have you got it?
I've got it. It's Patricia Bobsky. And they've got a little description of who she is at the bottom. Chris's aunt's friend from church. And she says, ever since he was a little boy, I knew he was going to grow up and become AEW World Champion. Which is brilliant on so many levels.
Yeah.
But my favorite level is that AEW wasn't a thing until this year.
January this year.
And then she said that Jericho's going to beat the S word out of Cody.
It's just the expectations just drop because she seems like such a nice, lovely old woman. And then, she's going to beat the S word out of Cody. And then one of the best lines was Sammy Guevara just saying, Chris Jericho, he's in the prime of his career. He's 48. He's the youngest ever AEW World Champion.
It's the perfect antidote to Cody's serious emotional promo earlier.
Yeah.
That's talking about Jericho being an old guy.
Yeah.
And he's this like sort of leech on the younger talent. Mm-hmm. And there's Sammy saying,
it's perfect.
Explain the joke. It makes it so much funnier.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go down that route.
Oh, man.
But then it goes to Jericho after a little training montage. And he's like, Cody's got a lot of meetings to do on that day. I'm only going to be focused on one thing. And I thought he was going to say, like, turn it serious, beating him in the match.
Yeah.
Whereas Cody's attention's split. But he doesn't say that. The one thing that Jericho is focused on is finding, and he just turns to the side and changes his voice. A little bit of bubbly. And he gets really sad. He goes, "It's a lot of responsibility."
And there's a cut of him in like super slow-mo of him just being like,
yeah.
like really like emotionally drained him.
What kind? Where
Where
to drink it? And that's it.
What a video package. Like, I don't know if this built to the match at all. I mean, it did.
It does, yeah.
It did, because it's such a contrast to what Cody did. If this had happened without the Cody promo earlier in the night, I don't think it would have built as much. But because you had Cody doing a very, very serious, heartfelt promo, and then you have Jericho almost, even though it was very funny, I'm still very much rooting for Cody to win, because it almost made it seem like Jericho doesn't care about the title.
Totally.
It seems like he's just like a nonchalant, like arrogant guy more than, oh, he's hilarious, I like him. So it was, again, I don't know how they do it, because anytime something is comedic and funny in WWE, it gets over as a babyface. When you have Jericho and Owens doing their shtick together, and, you know, the Festival of Friendship and all that stuff, they got over as babyfaces. People wanted to see them even though they were heels. Jericho's still a heel, even after all this.
I think that's just because WWE aren't very good at booking baby faces. But if you go back to the Attitude Era, which is I said to you, this feels like Brian Gewitz was writing something in the noughties in the Attitude Era. But Kurt Angle was a very goofy comedic heel. But you always wanted The Rock to beat him because The Rock wasn't... Well, I wanted Kurt to win.
Yeah.
But most people wanted The Rock to win because he's such a good babyface and so charismatic and so good at promos. But yeah, it was an absolute home run. Like that's one of the biggest matches on... arguably the biggest match, although it looks like Omega Moxley will go on last by the nature of it being a lights-out match and what Meltzer's said. But the perfect build. Perfect build on the go-home show.
What a segment. I could not stop laughing.
And then we got, very welcome, the return of Jamie Hayter, who I think it was 2 weeks ago. She had a match. She's a great wrestler. Well, I don't really know much about her. I've actually seen her wrestle live because she's an English wrestler. And
from Southampton.
Well, oh, is she? Yeah. And she's come back here. She's just really charismatic. And even when she's just standing on the apron, because this was a tag match, I couldn't take my eyes off her because she was always moving and doing something.
Yeah.
But she teamed with Emi Sakura, who's facing Rio for the women's title this weekend, against Shanna and Rio.
Shanna, bloody loved her from last week. Apparently she signed a multi-year deal with AEW now. Awesome. Love to see that. This was quite fun. The story of the match was that Sakura trained Rio. Yeah. So that's a nice kind of student-teacher dynamic going through the match that the commentary were putting over. I really would have liked it, again, if I'm going to be nitpicky, I really would have liked it if they'd have some sort of promo or something so that the crowd knew that as well, or that was the story being built to full gear. I think it's only the commentary that have put that over so far, whereas I think more of that story needs to be told in order to get like fully invested in it, if that makes sense.
Oh, I totally agree. Now you've said that, actually, because after this we got a Brandy Rhodes promo with Awesome Kong. Which it was better than last week's, makes more sense. But yeah, use that promo time to build your actual title match. Because I'm not invested in Rio versus Sakura beyond the fact that I like both of them. Yeah. So yeah, as a go home segment, it didn't really work. Sakura got the win with the roll up.
That ending sequence of roll-ups was really cool technical wrestling. Bloody love that. Roll-up, counter, roll-up, I get the win. Which was cool. We criticised WWE for this, and I feel like we should be fair for this. Don't like the champion being pinned. I feel like if it's a tag match, you have a person right there who could take the pin, and it would protect your champion. So I know why they did it, because to put over the fact that Sakura can beat Riho, because they've got a very short build, because they haven't really built this match until now.
They've had 5 weeks, though.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying in terms of their build, they've only started this week. So they want to get over a story of Sakura can beat Riho on Saturday. So they've built that story from this match. But I think if they have more time and put more effort into it throughout the 5 weeks they've had, then I think they could have told the story of them two being viable competitors without having to have Riho lose.
I totally agree. For all AEW's lip service of we're going to focus on the women's division, and this felt like the most fully fleshed out the women's division's been so far. Like seeing Hayter and Shanna and Rio and Sakura all in there, I was like, damn, this is good. I'm really into all these people. They've dropped the ball because the other match, of course, this weekend is Britt Baker versus Bea Priestley.
And that's on the pre-show. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of disappeared off the face of feudom.
It's not been built at all. I think maybe on Twitter. That doesn't really count. So
they're building. So after this, Brandy Rhodes had a pre-tape promo where she effectively said the same stuff as Cody, funnily enough, saying people only think that I got the job because of Cody. I'm just another pretty face. Well, that's all a mistake because Awesome Kong's coming back effectively, and
I am with her.
You can't deny Kong. It was better than what it has been.
Yeah.
I didn't have all the voodoo nonsense from before, but like, why are you building this? Because you've got all these other matches. It's a look to the past, which isn't a bad thing because I like Awesome Kong. But yeah.
I think have that promo at Full Gear or on the Dynamite after, not this one.
Yeah, good idea, yeah.
Use that time to build a current feud.
What they... Again, another thing is I kind of forgot Shawn Spears versus Joey Janela was happening, which was what the next match was about. Brandon Cutler came down with his beautiful 0-2 record.
Love it.
So he's lost everything so far. It's nice to position things. And he took on Shawn Spears because Shawn Spears is taking on Joey Janela on Saturday. It's an 8-match card at the moment.
It is.
Which isn't massively long.
No.
But I'm a big fan of quality over quantity. If this match hasn't really been built on TV, it has on Dark, I believe. I just save it for another show.
Yeah.
Like have that takeover 5-match card length and have it run 3 hours. Mwah.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I'm okay because it's an 8-match card, one of them on the pre-show, so it's 7 matches on the main card, which is fine. I think cutting that down to 6 would do it wonders, personally, but I think it should still be good.
7-8 matches is, of course, like the norm, but we're moving into a longer match age, that sort of spearheaded by the NXT takeovers and New Japan cards.
Yeah.
So I would much rather have 15, 20-minute matches with proper entrances and enough time to breathe afterwards than 7 matches.
Yeah.
Shawn Spears won this. It was for its purpose. It was very good. Shawn always looked in control, but Cutler did get some plucky offense in. But he beat him with the Death Valley Driver. Tully Blanchard slides a chair in to do it again, but Joey ran down for the save.
Yeah, it was cool. Good for what it was.
Then another kind of drop ball on the Moxley Omega stuff.
Yeah.
I guess they did have a really good ending go-home angle. But I just feel like this feud has had more time than any other to really catch a light. And it has had moments where it has caught a light. But this was just a video package of Mox recapping what he said last week and a few new bits as well. And a sit-down interview with Omega saying that he's going to beat him.
I think he only said like 2 lines throughout this whole thing, Omega. I think it would have been better if it was more Omega as a proper response to Mox.
From last week's promo.
Yeah. Whereas this felt like a video recap of Mox's promo more than a response from Omega.
Totally, yeah.
I mean, it was still really, really cool. It was an amazing video package. It was really, really nice. And then, like, the first thing that Omega said, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then it turned out to peter out a little bit after that, was when it recapped Moxie saying, you know, I'm annoyed because it's an unsanctioned match and I don't care. And Omega said, don't pretend that you're upset about this. What else were you going to do? Oh, are you going to out wrestle me?
Yeah,
it was
chain
like,
wrestle.
You're going to chain wrestle me. And it was like, that's a really good line.
Yeah,
but then after that, it just kind of petered out and didn't really add too much else after that. But yeah, so I would have rather this furthered it a bit more than just saying, I will win. And that's about it.
I think it was a bit of a drop ball. This whole feud has, you know, for what it should be, I don't think has reached its potential. Again, that's not to say I'm not enjoying it, though. I think I'm still very excited to see it.
It's great.
And the stuff last week on Mox's side was very good.
Yeah.
But the main event did help build interest back in that properly. It was
Sure.
Hangman Page and Kenny Omega taking on Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho.
What a stacked main event.
I know.
Oh,
And you're
was
like,
awesome.
wow, 4 really established names. And you're like, wait a second. I didn't know who Sammy Guevara was a couple of weeks ago. What a great job.
They've built him so well. I bloody love Sammy Guevara as well.
Yeah.
I really, really like him. I think he's such an amazing cocky heel. I get so excited when I hear Sammy Guevara's music. I'm like, yay! I'm excited for this match now.
They didn't come down together, which I like,
No.
actually. Sammy got his own entrance with the vlog, and Jericho came out with Hager. I've written down here, I don't even call him Swagger anymore.
No,
I
don't
thought,
either.
how am I ever going to see him as anything else than Jack Swagger? Jericho gets a mega star reaction. Then they go to ad break. There must have been a promo in the ring in this ad break, because when they come back, the crowd are nuclear.
Yeah. Jericho still had his full gear on.
Yeah.
And I think the crowd were chanting, "We are awful." So I'm assuming Jericho had said, like, "Oh, you guys are awful."
Yes, yeah.
And they're just agreeing with him.
This was a really nice structure to the match. They teased Omega Jericho a lot, but Jericho would tag out, of course, recalling the New Japan feud. Page, though, wow. We said it last week that he feels like he's changed. Of course, there's the teases on being the elite that he might be turning heel, and that was mentioned on commentary last week too. I feel like he's wrestling more aggressively.
Yeah.
He's wrestling more, potentially more heelish, and it's working great for him.
Yeah, I think he's really, really coming into his own now. Whereas before they were kind of positioning him as a main event guy, it didn't really seem to quite click. Whereas now, when he's being positioned, tagging with Omega against Jericho and Guevara, you're like, yeah, makes sense. So you could totally see him as the upper mid-card main event kind of caliber guy now, and I think he's really... I don't want to say he's improved necessarily, but something has just clicked more.
Well, it's like Baron Corbin is a very good promo, and he's got a great move set, and he actually has quite entertaining matches. But this year should not have been in the main event for 4 months. As soon as he was put back down to the level that makes more sense for him, brilliant again. Really enjoying him. I'm not saying that, Hangman Page is obviously a much, much better in-ring wrestler.
Yeah.
But it's a similar... There's a comparison there to be made.
For sure.
They keep cutting off Omega's hot tag. It's really, really good stuff. Look at the 4 guys in the ring, of course it's going to be. And a big dive happens outside with Omega onto Hager and Sammy. Then Page hits his big top rope moonsault.
That you think you should save.
Save it for the big matches, but, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then Pac comes down behind the referee's back, kicks him in the dick.
Yeah! Love Pac.
And Jericho hits the Judas effect to win. What a naff finisher. Isn't it naff?
I hate it. But
I think we're being worked.
You reckon?
I think it's intention because the code breaker I pop for, the walls I pop for, it's a clunky looking move. Jericho must know that. I think
I don't know.
with Jericho, if he does something that's annoying, I've got to give him the benefit of the doubt that he means it to be annoying and I'm being worked. I think he's genuinely invented an annoying finisher.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I mean, that's something. Yeah.
Isn't it? It's like, that's another level of thinking for him.
And during that video package that he had earlier, his training montage, there was a couple of punches and most of it was just back elbows to the pads that they're holding up. So maybe that's kind of, maybe there is something to that.
Anyway, the beat down afterwards was the Inner Circle beating down on Page. Cody runs down to chase them off. Jericho and Hager back off, but then MJF hits them with a chair. The baby faces are smart.
Yeah.
Yay, I like that.
Except he's a heel, but he's also a baby face.
It works.
It's fine.
It's weird how MJF isn't... They haven't really put him out there for promos and stuff. They've kept him part of this feud. Then Cody hits a crossroads on Jericho, holds the title aloft. I'm like, good image. That's a nice little bit of interaction. Oh my God, Moxley's coming out.
I was literally just like, oh, what a great way to end the show. Oh God! Here comes Jon Moxley. He's coming out with a barbed wire baseball bat, walking out through the crowd. Crowd start going electric.
Yeah.
Facing off against Omega. Omega's kind of back in the ring now. And as he's standing there, Jericho kind of grabs Cody and drags him to the outside, which is really nice. So you now have like two separate fights going on at the same time. And then on the ramp, these guys are brawling, and in the ring, Omega gets out a barbed wire broom. So then these two are staring off with their weapons. You think something big's going to go down. But then Santana and Ortiz come out proud and powerful.
I've just written LAX.
Yeah. I really don't like that tag name. They come out and they beat down both Omega and Moxley. So then, boo, we don't get to see our barbed wire weapons. I had to watch this entire segment again to actually figure out who came out when.
Yeah, well,
then I had to.
Then it was the Bucks.
Notes.
Yeah. And then the LAX, Ortiz and Santana, tried to powerbomb someone off the stage, but that's stopped by Omega. And then Omega and Moxley have this stare off, and everyone's like, yes!
Yeah.
So that's the go home angle for them
Yeah.
too, and that worked very effectively. And they brawl off out of the tunnel, the entrance tunnel. And then, who's up? That up there? It's Nick Jackson. He hits a huge senton off the top of the entrance portal.
Yeah.
And I think this was staged. Paige then falls into the camera guy. So
it was Jericho, wasn't it?
Oh, was it Jericho? I've written
I think it was Jericho.
Whoever it was, someone falls into the camera guy and the camera goes back. It looks so chaotic. It looks real. I think that was done on purpose.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah.
And then the Inner Circle are in the ring. The Elite are up by the entrance. And then they all start brawling again.
Yeah. So again, you get, what a cool ending image. These two staring off at either side and they just go, nope, just going to carry on.
Yeah.
Just carry on brawling, and then the show goes off the air. It was chaotic, crazy way to finish. And it was a great go-home show because it really built to full gear. All of these feuds are all now intertwined, and they all built together in one segment. It was a perfect go-home angle.
Yeah, the big matches really, really were put over strong. So let's see. I mean, man.
What would you give it?
I'm hesitant to say 5 out of 5. But that Cody promo.
I know.
That Jericho.
It's really hard to not give it 5 out of 5 with those two segments. But I think there's some other parts of the show that aren't quite as good, like the botched finish, Riho getting pinned, like the lack of build for Shawn and Joey kind of thing. So I would say a high 4 out of 5. But it's borderline. It's really close to like a low 5 out of 5 as well.
4.99999.
Yeah, it's really close.
Well. So let's get on to your super chats to see what you thought. Still on the topic of Cody being an excellent babyface and my brother. All Elite DK. Love Punk as a character, but I love Cody as my bro.
Yeah.
Mike Dempsey, can you do a Cody review wearing brown bags?
The gimmick you used to have where you used to put paper bags over people's heads.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We should totally do that.
And the face mask thing.
Yeah.
The Phantom of the Opera style look. Nate drops surname. I said last night I've done a 180 on Cody because of this feud. Went from eye roll emoji when title match was announced to wanting Cody to win the title.
It's because he's a really good babyface.
Some might say the best. Magnus Bernstrom. Cody was my favourite in WWE before Stardust happened, even though he just did his best. And to see his road from undesirable to goddamn deniable is awesome.
It's really, really cool.
Ollie Davis is #1 fan. Laramie Eshnar. That was my favourite promo in my time of being a wrestling fan. This was so incredibly fiery. I lost my mind when he said ungoddamn deniable, unreal.
Yeah, it was
totally agree with
so emotional. We got some about Jericho now. Priyant Sharma said, how to do heel comedy 101.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Lena Bliss said, Cody sold the best promo and Jericho the funniest. Yep.
Yeah.
Which is for sure.
Yeah.
Gordon Nelson said, Cody wins, Jericho complains, Jericho goes to Japan, Jericho makes the match on the cruise, Jericho regains the title on the cruise where he's in charge.
That would work with the whole Japan stuff. I don't, AEW and New Japan aren't working together apparently, despite the sort of teases. I want Jericho to hold it for a while. I think that's the most effective way.
Valad Mamadipudi said, Jericho has a match against Tanahashi in Wrestle Kingdom. If Jericho is going into that as AEW champion, he has to win, right? Not necessarily, because I don't think New Japan would necessarily care about protecting AEW's title if they're not working together. So
yeah, but apparently there's quite a bit of bad blood between the two sides. Yeah. On Hangman Page, Josh Denominics, Page is going to lose to Pac and turn heel on Cody. I could see that happening. Yeah. And joins Jericho. And that's a nice character arc, especially because Jericho beat him in the first world title match. If I can't win it, Cody, you can't either.
Exactly. And that Jericho just beat him in a tag match as well. So Jericho just keeps winning. He must be pretty good.
Yeah, and that saves the MJF term for later. Joseph Gianella, in one of the latest BTE episodes, they hinted a Hangman Page and Kenny feud in Hangman's Dream. Do you think this could happen? And if so, who would be the heel?
Page,
yeah. And I think that could probably be where they're going. I'll do this bit as well. Women's division, Mike Dempsey. Is there a way to save the librarian gimmick? I thought it was quite good on last week's show where they just came out to get beaten up by Moxley.
That's part of the undercard. Brandon Cutler and the librarian. That's all it is.
Keep them on AEW Dark.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Or have them come out to get beaten up.
Nate drops surname. Shanna is now my favourite on the women's roster. I bought into her last week, and then she looked fantastic again here. Plus, she's blonde. Push her. LOL. Yeah, she's great. She's really...
She's fantastic.
And it's amazing. I really, really appreciate those wrestlers who can draw people into their character just by wrestling. You know, she hasn't had a promo. She hasn't had a video package. But I really like her.
Yeah, exactly. We got some about one about that ending brawl. Greg Dalton said, no more WW soap opera for me. AEW's brawl was nuts. I guess WWE. No more WWE soap opera for me. AEW's brawl was nuts. It was.
Yeah, I guess. But WWE have had some great brawls on their shows too this year.
Apart from on Raw.
That
was mediocre. We got some about miscellaneous AEW things. Jan Gunnar said, is the AEW ratings only on TNT or Fight and ITV also?
The ones that are released online where everyone reports them are just the TNT numbers. And that's in the States.
Yeah. Unmasked King said, thanks to AEW, my wife is a wrestling fan again since WWE 2006. Excited to see AEW live in Chicago, 27th of November. Love you guys. Super WrestleTalk.
Thank you very much. That'll be a great show in Chicago as well. That's kind of their home base, I guess.
Apart from Jacksonville, I guess. Those are the two they've got.
The all-in ones. CM Punk return.
Yeah, confirmed. Jesse Venable said, the youngest AEW champion Chris Jericho and unsanctionable Jon Moxley have come a long way from fighting over Mitch the Potted Plant. Side note, Rick and Morty Season 4.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I'm looking forward to that.
Is that out now?
It came out on Wednesday.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
That's what they were building to.
They've got 5 more episodes coming. I think I saw an advert on this episode of 5 more episodes at some point.
Yeah, wow, I forgot about Mitch.
Mitch the Potted Plant. I remember, because I listened to that Jon Moxley promo on the way to work this morning.
It's a good S-word.
Start Recording said, how many pay-per-views will AEW have a year? Do you think it will be one every month or a bit more scattered like how NXT pay-per-views are? I think it will be between the two. I don't think it's going to be every month, but I don't think it's going to be one every, 3-4 months. I think it'll be one every 2 or so.
Yeah, so All Out was at the end of August.
August 31st, yeah.
But you only had TV launch in October.
Yeah.
So by that, it looks like every 5 weeks. But I could see them doing every 2 months as well.
Yeah, I think every other month would be a good shout for them. Joseph Harding said, hey peeps, do you guys think that AEW could benefit from a TV title this early in the game? I think eventually, yes, a mid-card title would do them wonders, but they don't need it right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Simon Ganji said, last week commentary called Aubrey Edwards AEW's top ref. Awesome. And this week she ref the main event again. Is she going to be AEW's Red Shoes? Hope so.
She already is for me.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see how they use Earl because he is a referee for the company.
Yeah.
But maybe he's only used for pay-per-views and stuff. I think Aubrey should be the senior referee.
Yeah.
Like that they should refer to her as she is the top official.
She's the Scott Sinclair of that. Bullet Club said AEW and NXT crowds were fire last night for main events.
Yeah.
I've seen clips of NXT, but I haven't seen the whole thing yet. But yes, from
stick around because we've got Laurie and Simon doing NXT right after this show.
Yeah, right after this one. HCP Assin said, I love Cassidy's rapid punches. Shots. Yeah, that's for Private Party. when he does
Oh,
the thing.
right.
And the crowd shots,
Yeah.
not Orange Cassidy.
I hear Cassidy and I
Yeah.
think, Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. Sean Turner said, friendship ended with Seth. Now Cody is my babyface. Good meme reference, like it. Nate Craver said, WrestleTalk writer Nate got to go to the show. Fantastic.
Yes, he's just
Nate.
actually messaged me some on our Discord.
That's a lot of pictures.
Some pictures, some excellent pictures as
Yeah,
well.
fantastic
Like
pictures.
those
What
are
the
like
hell?
professional photography
Yeah.
pictures.
He was on the side of the hard cam, it looks like.
Oh, you're able to get a press pass.
Press pass, and the show was incredible.
I imagine that was
under
for us.
WrestleTalk's name? Great.
Yeah, and finally,
In Yo Face said, my question got lost in the ratings debate. Let's say Cody loses at Full Gear. It could be a way to introduce an intercontinental title. Your thoughts? That's true. I guess Cody could challenge for the mid-card title instead and kind of helm that mid-card division, maybe.
could do. I think Cody is better than a mid-card title.
I think he's better than that, but I think also he could elevate a lot of people by being a mid-card champion and having people try to come from that way.
Maybe that's how he builds himself up again after losing at the weekend. You know,
Yeah.
after a while, after a few blood feuds, you build up this title. He makes that the top title in the company just through work rate and stories.
It
And
becomes
then
the new open challenge.
Champion versus champion. Cody
that's
wins. I will face it. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's tough. I
It
don't
is.
know the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So on the subject of WrestleTalk, David Herrera, I love you guys, and I love wrestling. Lovely time with the boys.
Lovely time with the boys.
Nathan, the Alpha Wolf fella, that was difficult to say. Can you start uploading a highlight video of your reactions for pay-per-views? It's a bit difficult to find the segments on catch-up. You guys rock. Lovely time with the boys.
Lovely time with the boys.
Funny you should mention that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We literally had a discussion about, because I don't know if you saw over the weekend on Sunday, Vinny Shui, who edits Wrestle Sketch, made us a little highlight video of all the Wrestle Ramble moments, Wrestle Talk Live moments throughout the week.
Yeah.
It was really good, and we're like, damn,
was great.
Damn, that's good.
Yeah.
Do you want to make more?
Should we do more highlight videos? So
it's, yeah.
Hopefully, yeah, that's in the works.
Nathan, the Alpha Wolf Vela again. Ah, yes, you make a compelling argument.
I don't know what that's about.
I assume it's
Maybe
everything
Cody.
we ever said.
Yeah.
It's going to be compelling.
Makes sense, yeah.
Andrew Harris, happy birthday, Chopper Pete.
Thank you. Still not my birthday, though.
Jay Patel, I'm sat in the lobby of the Starcast Hotel in Baltimore listening to this review. Have a great weekend, guys.
No, you have a great weekend.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Sounds fun.
Sean Turner, I love the Raw Seth meme. Want to see more?
I think the rah
Rah-rah, yeah.
Rah with an H.
So hopefully you mean the when I've been sent. So in today's news, I was like, he's been rather bad about this. I kept doing that because I found the one I did yesterday annoying.
Which one?
Rah 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 rah.
Yeah, it is a bit annoying. Didn't want to say anything, but yes.
Yeah, it annoyed me when I watched this. I'm not doing that again. Dwayne Cooley, could you guys also review Dark on these shows? We're talking about potentially doing more episodes like this to factor in other shows that we don't get to cover. So maybe Luke usually recaps Dark on one of his newses. We'll give it a go.
Now we've got miscellaneous super chats. Mike Dempsey said, "Where did Jack Gallagher go?" I don't know. I mean, he was on NXT before, but I think that was probably just a one-off. Start Recording said, "You're the captain of your own ship, but you have to name your ship after your biggest regret. What's your ship called?" Is you're saying HMS I Love Cody?
No,
Is that
I
your
don't
biggest
regret that at all. I stand by that.
God,
God, when he turns heel, I'm going to be
yeah, you're gonna be
broken as a
livid.
human being.
Biggest regret. I don't really have many regrets, honestly.
Yeah. It's a deep question.
It is a deep
that you
question.
probably meant as a joke.
Yeah.
And now it's got us thinking too hard about our lives.
Exactly. I try to just, live looking forwards and not back, so I don't really look at regrets. and
HMS
stuff, so.
employing Pete. I'm kidding. We just needed a joke to carry on.
Okay.
You keep this ship afloat, man. It's
that
continuing the metaphor.
that ship. Yeah. Start Recording again said, what match comes to your guys' minds in the last 5 years that you thought would be boring / bad, but ended up being great?
I mean, I've got to say Nick Aldis versus Cody.
That's a good one.
Not that I thought it was going to be boring, but I had no idea it was going to be as good as that.
I will say Cody Dustin. I didn't think it would be anywhere near the level that it was there. I thought it would be all right to good, but I didn't think it was going to be, match of the year, 5-star classic kind of thing.
Shanna's match last week.
Yeah. That was
I
a great
think
match.
it was going to be boring, but I just,
Not that
consistently surprised by AEW.
Danny Keeble said, do you think the KSI versus Logan Paul fight will hurt the pay-per-view buys for Full Gear since they are on at the same time? Who do you think will win the fight? I will say I don't care who wins the fight because it's KSI and Logan Paul.
Huh. Did it draw the first one or did KSI win?
It was a draw.
Yeah, so
because it was worked, yeah.
I don't know, KSI. But also I think they're very different audiences. I would be surprised.
I don't think it's much of a sport crossover, and it's much more of a YouTube crossover. One would hope.
Rematches usually outdraw the originals, though. In terms of big boxing fights. Like
and I mean it drew huge last time. So I don't know. Mike Dempsey said, "Miss you, Nia."
Drake Maverick.
I'm sure that makes sense. Iago1604 said, how about this? Hangman goes heel with the villain Marty Scurll when he arrives.
That's cool. I would prefer Marty just do his own thing.
Yeah. Do you not want to be part of the whole elite stuff if he comes in, or?
He's just great by himself.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah. I especially initially, I think it would be good as an invading supervillain force.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Ashley Cartwright said, can you help with my campaign to get Harry Smith signed to AEW? He has told me he is interested. I can help get him in the studio if you'd like.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I interviewed Harry Smith once for WrestleTalk back when it was a wrestling on Challenge.
On the TV.
He's a really nice guy, actually. And he's huge.
Yeah, he's massive.
Wow. Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be cool.
Email me.
Ollie at WrestleTalk.com.
Yeah, Ollie at WrestleTalk.com. Cheers. Yeah. And one just come in. Bobo Jacobo, I need Aleister Black versus Kenny Omega so badly.
Oh, that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
That's a good one.
That would be a great shout.
And also, someone sent a sticker that Lady Lou says that's a thing now.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Oscar Josu Montiel, thank you very much for the sticker.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
I think it means you can do emojis. It's like bits on Twitch.
Is it?
I think. Except it's still, money. But instead of a message, they just do an emoji now.
You've explained something by using something else I don't understand.
I explained bits to you the other day, Ollie.
It was
my Twitch crash course.
I can't see. It doesn't go back far enough to see any stickers. No. Oh, well. Thank you very much, everyone who super chatted. Have we got any Patreon shout-outs for today? No, we haven't. We'll have those next week. But stick around right now. In fact, go over and watch the WrestleTalk news episode that went live when we went live. It was just the way the schedule worked out today. We're trying to avoid that in the future. I am going to spam the live
that's too much
chat.
Spam, Ollie. God, I need to ban you for that much spam.
Click that link, go and watch it now, and then come back here in 10 minutes because Laurie and Simon will be reviewing NXT. Also sounds like an excellent show with some very big things that happened on it. But for now, please click the videos that have just appeared on the desk to catch up with the latest awesome WrestleTalk things, and this button right here, which will make you a pledge hammer on Patreon. I've been Ollie Davis. This has been Chopper Pete Quinnell, and that was wrestling. Go over and watch the WrestleTalk news. Go over and watch the